Welcome to Breakfast Daily. It's a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning, 3rd of August.
First Monday of the month.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
We're already into it.
Yeah.
I saw you eating pizza or something this weekend.
But your birthday was this weekend.
Yes, it was. That was fantastic. It was fantastic. I had fun.
Nice.
I had fun. I had a bunch of friends who decided to throw me a party, so it was really good. It was
Shout
nice,
out to your friends.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Monday. I think this August is like the end of the second quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Because then we get to September, then we have September, October, November, December, then we're done.
Yeah. So the first quarter is 3 months. That's March. Then the second quarter is the next 3 months. That's June. So we are in the third quarter. And then we're going to the fourth.
Then we're done. I mean, 2020 has been a very long,
really long year. Yeah, it's like 10 years in one.
When I look up at August, I'm like, yes, we're almost in December. We're gonna get there. But guys,
Absolutely.
it's an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Use the hashtag Breakfast Daily to join the conversation.
Yes, and we have a WhatsApp line too. It's 0550-585-832. Kindly prefix that with +233 if you happen to be outside Ghana.
And every morning we start our show off with our quote.
Yes.
So we'll take a look at our word of inspiration this morning.
Yes, so the quote for today comes from Hillary Clinton. She says, "Do all the good you can for all the people you can in all the ways you can for as long as you can." Oh man, I like that. Do all the good you can for all the people you can in all the ways you can as long as you can.
That's from
Those are
Hillary
brilliant words.
Clinton.
Yeah, absolute truth. Brilliant words there. Words to live by, words to guide us as we go towards, the ending part of the year.
Definitely.
Do all the good you can, and I think we couldn't have said it. I couldn't have put it better. Yeah.
And I think it really simplifies what it means to live a life of service. Every time we think of service, we're thinking of, someone who works in government, someone who's in the public sector.
Yeah.
But wherever it is you find yourself in your small space, if you ask yourself, what's the best I can do to offer myself to the people around me in the best way I possibly can, in every single way. An elderly person is moving, let me move out the way to help them. I see a pregnant woman coming to the registration center, there's only one seat available. Do I ignore it and sit down, or do I offer her my seat? So doing all these things, especially when no one else is looking, is what really determines who you are as a person.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Keyboard Idol.
Yes.
Has
finally arrived.
Fully launched.
And we now know who made it to the top 20.
Yeah. So we have the top 20 contestants who have made it. And we have Bess Marie, Boaz, Chris, Emmanuel, Iradra, Justice, Daniel, Nanayao, Uriel, Wayne, Josiah, Nana Kweku, Joel, Vinyo, Jojo, Jeremiah, I hope I'm not pronouncing that name correctly, Euclid, Ezra, Kelvin, and Edwin.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's amazing. 20 people in the finals, and this competition is going to be
amazing.
lit.
I mean, it's been months trying to figure out who's going to make it, how will they make it, what's going to happen, and now we're going to know who will make it to the top 10. I mean, I think they are all winners. I mean, to be able to make it to this point, you're already a winner, and after the top 10, then we really get to vote for the person we think should win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. And beyond the prize, I just want to enjoy the journey, seeing them nervous, anxious, and then getting to a point where they master the craft. That journey for me is more satisfying than whoever wins the prize.
My hope in all this is that we will be inspired across the country, to get our kids into music, get our kids into playing instruments. When yesterday I took our flyer for the final 20, right? and I posted it on my WhatsApp story, right? And like within 5 minutes, a friend of mine hit me up, and she sent me 3 videos of her son playing.
Wow.
Her son is playing like some of the people that we have in the competition. Okay, she's Ghanaian, but she lives in England. Guess what? How old her son is? 3.
Wow.
And he's playing like some of the people here.
That's crazy.
Apparently, he's been identified as a child prodigy in England.
Wow.
You know, so he's about to be enrolled in a special school of music. So
and our viewers
there we
get
have
to
it.
see
Fantastic.
Our glorious top 10 contestants.
Yep.
For Keyboard Idol. Big thank you. Yes, top 20. We're going to find out about the top 10 next week. But these guys made it to the top 20. A big thank you to their parents, their guardians, all the people who invested and nurtured in their talent. I think all of them should be celebrating this achievement. It takes a lot to make it to 20.
It's amazing.
And I mean, they can only go up from here.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Well, we're going to enjoy that for the next few weeks. But later this week, we're going to be doing Hello, Mr. President.
Yes, on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah.
Speaking of Hello, Mr. President, I mean, I think it's a great way for our viewers, especially, to bring us into your communities, not just us in the studio, but the entire country into your community to say, guys, this is what is happening within my community. These people who are voted into power to make these changes are not doing it. So I want you to see the frustrations I experience every single day and call on to that person to answer to why they have not solved these problems. So if you're facing any issues in your community, just take out your phone and record an up to 1 minute video. We want to see what you're experiencing through your eyes, and send that video to us via our email, hello-mrpresidenttv@gmail.com. And of course, our WhatsApp line.
So we also have a WhatsApp line as well, and it's 0550-585-832. And it's good for you to send us the WhatsApps as well, so that we can get like live video experience of what's going on in your communities. All right.
Yeah, because we always talk about being active participants of our own development. We don't want to keep voting people into power and trusting that they will do what's right, and they come and tell us whatever it is they think we want to hear and do whatever it is they want. This is an opportunity for us to hold them to account and ensure that they do what they said they were going to do for us.
It's so important. This weekend, church. A lot of people went to church. Of course, we know that the restrictions have been further eased. We're going to church for 2 hours now instead of 1. But there's so many different experiences that people had this weekend. A lot of churches have devised some pretty ingenious ways of maintaining the protocols within the current dispensation, so that they don't have any outbreaks within their churches. So I think we should take a look.
Let's take a look at it. Some of our reporters went to different churches across the country, so we'll get to go on that journey with them to see how church went yesterday.
Following the further easing of COVID-19 induced restrictions on religious activities, where churches are allowed to worship for up to 2 hours, some have taken advantage of this. Some churches have, however, been having only virtual services since the beginning of the pandemic and have not allowed their congregation to join, although some restrictions have been eased. One of such churches is Christ Cosmopolitan Incorporated, CCI. According to the church leadership, they have been able to reach out to more people, although they are not allowing their members to physically join them.
On a number of counts, the present decision that we've taken on the evangelistic front works much more to our advantage. Over this period of time, there's been the exponential revealing of the unique message that God has given to us as a commission. Across even various nations of the world, we are reaching much more people than we were even doing previously. So on the evangelistic front, this present system is working to our advantage, and we know that even when we switch over to the brick and mortar church system, we have learned lessons from this present system that we are going to input. On the account of health and putting in place all the health measures, we have that strongly in mind, and we have a team of health personnel that we consult consistently to provide us insights concerning how to drive things and how to ensure that we are putting in place the effective measures should we resume physical church meetings, so that we do not put anyone's life in danger.
At the Calvary Charismatic Center, CCC, the church is still using 1 hour for each service as it operates 6 different sessions.
With a little bit release of the sanctions, I am still going by the old method. Number one, the president asked for 1 meter. Our building is big. We can take more people, but I've gone for 2 meters so that I can limit the crowd. Number 2, I'm doing 6 services on Sunday morning, and I am also maintaining 1 hour.
The founder and general overseer of CCC, Pastor Ransford Obeng, wants church leaders to ensure the health of their members is considered paramount as restrictions have been further eased.
If a worshiper come to church and because you did not observe the protocol and you make the people crowd and the person get the virus, as a pastor you have defeated your purpose. And look at people who will be discouraged from coming to church because when it happens like that, and you have not helped the people.
Some persons who attended church have expressed confidence in measures being put in place to ensure their safety as restrictions have been eased.
With the easing of the restrictions, we feel very confident to even come to church. One interesting thing is that the church has not let go all the protocols that have been put in place. In fact, the church has assured everyone of our safety in coming to church.
I feel very confident coming to church because here we observe the social distancing, and also when you come in, they take your temperature, you wash your hands, they use sanitizer. I mean, they do all those protocols that have been laid down for us to do.
From the CCC main auditorium here in Kumasi, I am Edward Upon Marfo for City News.
The Church of Pentecost English Assembly at Kaswa Zongo still maintained the 100 members at a time, as directed by President Akufo-Addo earlier before. According to the church, this is to make way for them to adequately educate their members before they operate at full capacity. Matthew Kobna Baini is the district pastor for the Kaswa district of the Church of Pentecost.
We have the directive from our chairman and his executive council that the directions will become operational from the 9th of August. So for now we are adhering to the 100 protocol. We need education. So like we have been directed, we use today to educate the people, that is the church congregants, about these protocols, how we have to adhere to it. Before today, we were not having this number. The number had been limited, 60, 70, and thereabout. But today is upward to about 90, thereabout.
The situation was different at the St. Martha's Roman Catholic Church, where City News visited. Here, they had devised new ways of containing the huge numbers expected. According to Reverend Father Anthony Blankson York, the parish priest for the St. Martha's Roman Catholic Church, the unique sitting arrangements will help in preventing the spread of the virus, even when church is operating at full capacity.
Well, prior to the last announcement that was made by the president, we put a measure in place based on the Bishops' Conference, one, and the diocesan arrangement as well. So until probably next week, we have been keeping the spacing with 2 people on each pew. The next one is 1 person, just to make sure that we're able to space the people out in order to reduce constant contact with other people. And that is the first thing we put in place. So if you look at the pews, you will see them, all of them numbered according to where people have to sit. And we have the ushers to direct them. So each person enters, the person doesn't just go to any seat he or she wants or feel comfortable, but somebody will lead you to wherever you are supposed to sit.
He demonstrated to City News how the sitting arrangement is going to look like.
If you look at this particular pew, for instance, only 2 people sit on it.
I've seen some numbers.
Yeah, you see the numbers, yes. The number is to tell where people can sit. So you don't just sit anywhere. Where there's no number, you are not supposed to sit. So where there's number, then you can sit there conveniently without any problem. Yes. So this one you have 2. The next one, you only have 1 person. Then the next one will be 2. Then the next 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. But even that, we still have a lot of space for other places that if you don't want to sit anywhere close to anybody, you can still sit where you want to be alone.
So in terms of ensuring that people put on nose mask and all, what has the church done?
Well, already we had people who sit at the entrance to check people who enter. You cannot enter because right at the gate there is, they put a sign there that no nose mask, no entry. And if you don't have one, we had one provided for people who never had anything like that.
Some church members also spoke to City News about the president's directive easing the restrictions.
People are able to go to the market to sell and then do all other stuff, but they find it difficult to come to church, which shouldn't be the case because it is a church that the protocols are really observed.
Secondly, the sitting arrangement, formerly it was 8 going, but now we want to do it 3. Try and do 3 and space. If we see that the church is full to some gauge, I will let the remaining ones stay outside and join the next community service.
From the St. Martha's Catholic Church in Kasoa, I am Calvis Tete for City News.
Even though President Akufo-Addo has lifted the restriction on 100 congregants per service and extended the duration for church service from 1 to 2 hours, checks at some churches revealed service is still being conducted under an hour, with maximum of 100 members for each service. At the Kuko branch of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church in Tamale, a canopy is mounted at the entrance of the church for the COVID-19 health team to check temperature and take records of members. Hand-washing materials were also positioned for members coming in to wash their hands before entering the church. Here, church service is conducted twice. The first service saw not more than 100 members seated on the pews adhering to the social distancing protocol. In an interview with City News, the Upper Northern Presbytery Synod moderator, who is also the head of the EP Church Ghana Tamale Kuko branch, Reverend V.K. Dagadu, stressed the need to observe social distancing and the safety protocols despite the further ease in restrictions by government.
I think anybody who would think in that manner or will always come out with the analogy that the market is full of people, so why not the church also allowed to pack itself to that capacity? I think it's a great mistake. We need to still observe the distance because we are hearing the news that the COVID is still rising. And so the opportunity for us to come to church doesn't mean that we should lose guard. We should always make sure that we observe the protocols and then members will come and go safely. Another Sunday they'll have the cause to come again. Because when the church reports COVID, it will be a disaster for the church. And so we need to observe the distances so that when people come, they know that they are safe when they come to church. So we need to be observing the social distances.
Some members who spoke to City News after church service shared their impression about the arrangement.
Really impressed with service today because the measures that were actually put in place, the church really put it in place. They washed our hands and they were giving sanitizers and the numbers to ensure that there were spaces between every other person in the church. And so I'm really impressed. Service was short and there wasn't enough movement. So we weren't coming together and into contact with each other. And so overall it was okay and I'm very happy about it.
Church today was really great. In the midst of COVID-19, all the protocols were observed. And entering the church, we had an usher who will usher you to the hand washing facility with social distancing observed among the colleagues. After washing your hands, then they will direct you to a nurse who will take your temperature. So in fact, church was really impressive. We missed church so much in the midst of COVID-19. And we pray and hope that COVID-19 leaves us soon so we can enjoy worshiping the Lord.
The COVID-19 protocol team also played their role very well in the first service and also in the second service. The hand washing, the face shield, the face mask, everyone wore it and they were very strict on their rules. They use sanitizers even before you take the Holy Communion. You have to sanitize your hand and you pick it by yourself. Then you take the wine too by yourself. Then you now, when you are going out, the exit point, you drop your offering. Then there you go.
Yeah, so you can see right there the various churches that have implemented different measures, and I like the creative ways in which different churches are implementing the measures, all in an effort to make sure that we don't get any outbreaks whatsoever within any church congregation. So I think it's brilliant to see the proactivity and the initiatives that the church leaders have taken. Jifa, I like what I saw in the Kaswa church, the Catholic church, where they had numbered specifically the seats. So in the first row, there's 2 people. Second row, there's 1 person. But even that arrangement, what they've done is that you're one and then on the other end. Then the next row, there's only 1 person. Yeah. Then the next one is another 2 people, but again on the ends. And it's numbered. So when you come in, the ushers know which number is next, and they take you straight to that number. Yeah. So they're no longer leaving it to people to sit where they will feel comfortable, but to go and sit in numbered seats. I think that's just brilliant. And then the communion aspect as well. In Tamale, we saw that the gentleman was saying that you have to pick it yourself. There's no more this exchange of somebody picking and giving to you and so on and so forth. But your hands are sanitized before you go and pick and all of that. I think it's. And I think it's a relief, because when you talk about coronavirus, stress is a very big factor in it all. If someone is stressed out, their blood pressure is high, that alone could determine whether they will survive it or not. And as a people in this country, a very spiritual people, there are people who find peace in church. So not being able to go to church might even be a worse punishment than surviving coronavirus. So I think it's a relief that the leadership in church have really taken this seriously to safeguard the lives of their members, because faith is something that you don't put logic to. No. People will go to church if it's raining, if it's whatever it is, they are going to go because that's the place where they find peace, they find joy, they find happiness. So I'm really, really thankful that we're pulling it off well, and all these churches are not downplaying the possibility of the virus spreading within their premises and doing everything they can to protect their members. Yeah. Well, we have a packed show for you. Up next is going to be news review, but after that, we're going to be doing nutrition, and we're also going to be... Yes, she's going to join us.
Talk about diabetes, which is really important because before COVID, you could manage diabetes, but if you have it, that could be a potential, comorbidity issue going on there. So we need to learn how to manage it. And later we're going to...
we're going to be doing cooking segment. We're going to be doing spicy prawn and millet salad.
You can't wait. So grab all the ingredients in your fridge and then you'll go through it as we make that. My name is Jipa Ekia Abetam.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
We'll be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
Welcome back, and it's time for us to get into the news review, and I'm going to read the headlines of the papers that we have here. We'll do some online stories. My guests are already ready, and we'll introduce them to you and have a conversation. This morning it's going to be interesting, the different topics that we're discussing. Of course, coronavirus, the pandemic situation, is not going anywhere anytime soon. Election 2020, however, is coming up, and then also progress is being made on the Kafaba situation with some people being arrested and so on. Let's get into the stories from the headlines of the papers. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, ignore leaked papers. WAEC GES urge candidates to be focused. So there's a story, this story there, basically there's some leaked papers, screenshots of leaked past questions and so on, and they're saying that it's not true. They're all fake, and they are meant to distract candidates, so we should be careful there. Parliament passes aircraft accident investigation bill. I won't contest December 7 election. This is Dr. Indum. Otumfuo opens a Greek enterprise at KNUST. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, KNUST outdoors first female vice chancellor. Leaked 2020 WASI papers fake. WAEC, BNI-CID alerted. NLA KGL Limited partner to revolutionize Ghana's online lottery. Western region embarks on the second phase of nationwide disinfection exercise. Ghana's confirmed COVID-19 cases hit 37,014. On the front page of the Finder, NIEP completes training of 26,500 entrepreneurs. 16 model SHSs in Zongos, one in each region. This is from Dr. Baumia. $356.1 million water projects for 1.2 million people in northern, northeast, and savannah regions. NDC's plan to cancel national service for teachers disingenuous. This is from the National Service Secretariat. Register and vote for MPP. This is the Chief of Staff there speaking. Let's do some online stories. On citynewsroom.com, voter registration exercise has been successful so far. This is coming from the EC. Key suspect in lynching of 90-year-old woman to be arraigned today. Soldiers have taken over our town. Chief decries military deployment in Banda. Political banter between MPP, NDC, ludicrous. This is coming from the PPP National Chairman. 9 Ghanaian nurses in Barbados test positive for COVID-19. And on citybusinessnews.com, we have, be calm. Tax force will lock up illegal foreign shops this month. Guta urges traders. Pay IPPs. Consider renewable energy to reduce cost. This is the IES to government. Lifeline consumers to enjoy free power from this month. Petroleum Holding Fund for 2020 Q1 drops by $124 million as against 2019 Q1. Accident Investigation and Prevention Bureau bill passed to boost air transport safety. And that's what we have for you this morning. For more news, kindly visit citynewsroom.com, and for more business news, visit citybusinessnews.com. So my guests are seated here, and I have in studio Elvis Daku, who's the editor of the Finder newspaper. Good morning, Elvis.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
And how's the weekend?
Not bad. Not bad. Some people were enjoying pizza, but some of us would.
You seem to have an issue with the fact that others were enjoying what you did.
They had a very enjoyable weekend. And where they had it is even very, very nice. You see the point?
Why do I sense some jealousy and other...
And but I wish I was also there. I also enjoy such an opportunity.
All right, so my other guest also is joining us by Zoom, Ibrahim Tanko Amidu. He's the Executive Director of Star Ghana Foundation. Good morning, Ibrahim. Hello, Ibrahim, good morning. All right, we'll soon be joined by him. Elvis, let's get into the stories for today. But I'm going to first of all read a couple of stories, and then we'll get into that. All right, so let's read the first one we want to talk about is the Ghanaian nurses, the 9 Ghanaian nurses in Barbados. So the 9 Ghanaian nurses in Barbados test positive for COVID-19. 9 out of the 95 Ghanaian nurses who traveled to Barbados to work for 2 years have tested positive for COVID-19. They are said to be asymptomatic, according to the acting chief medical officer of Barbados, Dr. Kenneth George. It should be noted that all of the nurses went into a 14-day quarantine on arrival. Dr. Kenneth George said, the country has recorded 12 new cases out of 248 tests conducted on persons who came from high-risk countries, including Ghana. The 95 Ghanaian nurses arrived in Barbados on Thursday, July 30th, 2020, via a chartered flight. The Ministry of Health in November 2019 announced that 120 Ghanaian nurses had been selected to serve a 2-year contract in Barbados under a human resources agreement between the two countries. At the time, the batch of nurses included 12 cardiac care nurses, 21 critical care nurses, 8 emergency room nurses, 6 operating theater nurses, 3 ophthalmic nurses, and 70 registered general nurses. Some 600 nurses had applied for a program to serve at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Barbados. The ministry, together with officials from Barbados, conducted a series of interviews for 150 shortlisted applicants before arriving at the final number for the Barbados nursing job. The Barbados Nursing Job Initiative resulted from President Akufo-Addo's visit to the Caribbean island for bilateral talks with the Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley. Okay, let's do the other one. I'll just read a bit of it. The case count has gone up to 37,014. So we have 787 new cases, push Ghana's COVID-19 case count to 37,014. Out of this figure, 14,524 are from routine surveillance and 22,490 from enhanced contact tracing. This was contained in an update by the Ghana Health Service on Sunday, August the 2nd, 2020. Meanwhile, a total of 33,365 clinical recoveries have also been recorded in the country. The death toll still stands at 182 people. Ghana's current active case count is at 3,467 as per the latest update. Okay, so we have 8 people currently in critical condition, 4 on ventilators, and 22 in severe conditions. Now, the story so far, put it together, what do you make of it? Our current case count, where we are, progress or not, and then looking at the fact that we seem to have exported some COVID cases also to another country.
Oh, let me say for the export, we just have to ask simple questions. Before they left, did we test them? If we did, what were the results? If we did not, then we should realize that we made some decisions that could have been done better. Because these are just less than 100 people. So I was expecting that they would have been tested, but we are not being told whether they were tested in Ghana before they left. So I think Ghana Health Service and the government owe it a duty to let us know that, before they left, probably we tested them. Probably they were in a flight with other people, and therefore maybe they might have contracted it on the flight. Then we'll be clear in our minds. But now the picture is not clear as to whether they contracted in Ghana and took it there, or they were tested and found not to have it, and maybe because they were in a flight that other people were on, maybe the contract. We don't really have an idea. And for that reason, I think that it would be fair for Ghana Health Service and the government to tell us, because it will be seen as we exporting the disease to another country. And if you look at the positive cases they have found from their test, it appears that the Ghana number is so high compared to the number of positives that they found from the test. So for me, I think that is a simple issue. They should let us know. If we did not test, it should be a lesson for us that if we are doing anything of that nature next time, we should take lessons from this and test the people before we let them go. And for me, that is the most important. And the fact that they are all asymptomatic also tells us that they are safe they'll recover and continue with whatever business they're supposed to do there. The lesson for me is this thing I've been saying all along, that we spend so much money to train people here and we can't find jobs for them and they just waste around. So I've always said that, look, all these countries, especially in Europe and America, they have a lot of programs for skilled labor. Our governments need to push harder and do negotiations. Yes, if they are here, they would have helped in developing this country better. But the opportunities that will enable them to do that, we have not been able to create them now. We shouldn't let such people stay here and waste. If they will be needed in other economies, our country should make that push, that strong effort to get people to be employed in other countries who need their services. If at the right time that we have created an environment that they want to return, fine. But it's so painful when I see people, somebody said I have a master's, I have a first degree, first class, second class, and I've been looking for a job for 3 years, 5 years, and I don't have. And these are people who have studied certain skills that other countries are so much in need of. Yet we allow them to just work on the streets of Accra, in Ghana, Kumasi, Takmal, everywhere, 5 years, 7 years without a job. Then ask myself, all the investment we've done in these people from kindergarten to this level, well, how beneficial is it when we allow them to work just around like that? So before COVID, I was advocating that, look, we should have personal conversations with most of these countries around who have embassies here, and let them know that we have all this number of graduates, people who can do something around. Even if they need some additional polishing for them to be able to fit their job market, our government is willing to foot the cost of that additional training so that they can be fit for purpose for whatever economy they are supposed to go and work, so that we can really employ people after they have studied so hard and completed school. So I think that, especially now that COVID is in, we should take advantage of this Barbados example. And government should push hard, talk to other countries, try to create such opportunities for unemployed graduates, young Ghanaians, very agile, strong, ready to work, people to go out there and go and work, because they're working in Ghana, doing nothing, looking for a job 5, 7 years. For me, it's very, very painful, and we should not allow this to happen. So for me, I think that we must all hammer it for government to know that there are opportunities in our countries. Every country has what they call skilled labor employment. We should try and explore some of these things to get the job for our people. The case comes for Ghana. I have always said that the way we are behaving, I will not be surprised if we hit 100,000 cases. The thankful aspect, whether it's by divine intervention or whatever it is that we have been told that out of all the cases, it's only 18% that are symptomatic. And those 18%, because we are doing some reasonable, good job in terms of contact tracing and surveillance, we are able to find them early. And therefore, you realize that even though we have lost 182 people, which is very unfortunate, because the loss of one life alone could have a lot of havoc on a lot of people, because we are in a country where a lot of people depend on people to be able to have their lives move on. So losing one person alone is not easy, because you can't replace life. But if you compare, looking at the numbers, obviously we seem to be doing better in the management of the disease, because our health system has not been overstretched, based on the fact that large numbers of the Ghanaians who get it are asymptomatic. So their treatment does not require hospitalization and may not cost as much as those that we treat on hospitalization. So for me, that is a good news. But then it appears we are taking advantage of that and misbehaving. I traveled to the Volta region on Saturday. I passed through communities all the way to Mel. Funerals were organized, and if you see the numbers of people who were attending some of these funerals, it's mind-boggling. And you look around, it appears it is those who came from outside the community are the ones you see in mask. Most people that are from the community, you don't see them in any mask. They just walk around having their own normal lives. I think this is quite disturbing for all of us. So if we are shouting, the numbers are going up. We are responsible for numbers going up, because what we have been told to do to ensure that the numbers do not go up, we are not doing it. In Accra here, you see a lot of people walk around without any mask. You see, over the weekend I saw a video, they claim it's from Osu Oxford Street. People were having all kinds of fun. You watch social media, people have birthday parties, people have parties, all kinds of things, and they are not wearing any protective mask. So you ask yourself, if we continue to behave this way, how do we expect the numbers to drop? Although the active cases are 3,000, less than 4,000. If we were behaving well and doing the right thing, maybe our active cases may be just 500 or 400 or 200. But because we are not listening, and we should know that this disease, we don't know where it's going to end, so we should be careful. South Africa is now the 4th highest in the world. South Africa. 530,000 cases. Because the people will not obey whatever they are being told. 530,000. They are the 4th highest country with COVID cases in the world as we speak. So it is in Africa. So if we continue to behave this way, then we should not expect a drop in the numbers, because our behavior is what is making the numbers go up.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our other guest is also with us, Ibrahim Tanko Amidou. He is the Executive Director of Star Ghana Foundation. Good morning, Ibrahim Tanko.
Good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. This morning, the first topic we're talking about is the 9 nurses who have been found positive in Barbados, the Ghanaian nurses who are going out there to go and work, and then also our case count is now 37,014. As you make comments on that, I also want you to touch on the subject of the school of thought that says, in the past we were arguing against brain drain, but now we seem to be advocating for economic reasons to let some people go outside. Of course, Elvis also put it quite eloquently, the need that he feels that we need to create opportunities outside for people to get employed, at least on a short-term basis, to go and make some ends meet and then come back.
Right, thank you very much, and Eid Mubarak to you and to your Muslim
thank you
viewers, business. I think starting with the issue of the nurses in Barbados, well, it's a good news. It's good news that the cases have been detected, that they are asymptomatic, etc. But I think that in a way it points to a wider problem. My co-panelists raised the issue of whether they were tested here before they left. But the interesting thing for me was that when they got there, they were quarantined for 14 days. They've been tested after the 14 days and some have been found to be positive. So what lesson is it teaching us here? Because I do know of incidents here where people who were evacuated from London, the UK, US, etc., came, they were lodged in hotels for 14 days. They were tested at the beginning of their stay in Ghana here. But after the 14 days, they left without having received the the test results. And I do know personally of some people who were quarantined. And then after the 14 days, it was assumed that once they didn't show any symptoms, they are okay. Now, this is the Barbados example is telling us that actually we are operating under a very false assumption. So some of those who have gone through the 14 days quarantine in Ghana here did not show any signs, have been released back to their families, may actually be carrying the thing and infecting their families or wider community. So we need to change this approach and ensure that, those who are tested get the results before they leave the quarantine over there. I think that with the issue of the brain drain and the recruitment of the nurses and etc., in some ways it is good news. People who hitherto didn't have jobs will have jobs. Their remittances back to their families in Ghana here will help, improve the quality of lives of their relatives and also bring in foreign exchange. But sometimes it is the caliber of people we export that, raises other questions. Because amongst the list,
it looks like we're having some network challenges with Mr. Amidou. So I think as he was talking about that, it looks like the way our protocol is, of course, I mean, you mentioned it earlier on the question of whether we did the test in Ghana or not. But it seems that when they got there, everybody's been put through the 14-day quarantine period. Whilst they're quarantining them, they've also tested them. And then we found these.
Which is the right thing to do, because Ghana is a high-risk country. We do clear the numbers that we have. So they were not taking any chances. They were not going to say, because they were coming to help us, just walk into the facility and start work. They were taking precautions. So as I was saying, we need Ghana Health to tell us. Because possibly they may be tested, but maybe they were on a commercial flight with other people. They could contract it on the flight. Is it that it's a chartered flight only for them to Barbados straight, or they were on a commercial flight sharing the flights with other people? So this kind of information needs to come. See, it gives us confidence that our management of the disease, we are doing everything well. If it's not done, then we know that there are some lapses, and therefore we draw attention to it and compel people to do the right thing. Because this thing that has happened, excuse me to say, but whilst these people are going to help them, it's also some form of a dent on us, because it will be like you are a country with high risk, you are having a lot of cases, and just 100 people are going to live to another person's country. You didn't even take the time to even test them. That's why it's important for us to send the message. We did test them, these are the results, or we did not, so that it cleared the air for everybody to know that whether we did the right thing or not. If we did not test them, we didn't do the right thing. That is a fact. If we did not test them, that means that we didn't do the right thing. The next time, if we are going to do something like that, then it will guide us. It's a process for us to learn. So for me, it's important that we have that information for GHS.
I want you to just quickly touch on the subject of the economic benefits that this brings us vis-a-vis the issue of brain drain.
Brain drain, as I said, when you complain about brain drain, the issue then is that, do you have opportunities for the people? If the opportunities are there and there's a brain drain, then you can complain. But here's the case, it's obvious in the health. As we speak today, there are still several nurses who have completed school and are looking for a job. I know the concern of people is that we are exporting people who are experienced out there to create opportunity for those who are coming in.
Pretty skilled nurses.
Yes, they have been working for some time because they were looking for experienced people. But it's also the best way to do it, because I am having an agreement. I will not expect you to send me fresh graduates from school for me to go and train them. You do the training and give me the ones you think that, as soon as you let them come, you create opportunities, and then you recruit the new ones and you train them. Because for me, I want already made products that I'm going to pay for a job done. So I will want people who are already on the job. I will not tell them, send me graduates, then I will now go to go take them through the process 2-3 years before they become somehow experienced and start. No, I will not want that. So for me, the truth of the matter is that if we have the opportunities, nobody will advocate for skilled Ghanaians to go out there. But the truth of the matter is that we don't have the opportunities. The wage bill is in crisis. As we speak, government plans to even recruit the remaining nurses. I see it as being doubtful because of coronavirus. Because we are looking at about 6%, 7% growth. And we are told that it's going to be 0.9. And I even think that it's going to be negative by the end of the year. So if the revenues that you need to be able to absorb these people are not there, how do you increase your wage bill? So obviously, we are really stuck. And as I said, not only nurses. You meet people who have masters in banking and finance, architecture. You meet people with very good qualifications in very good areas, skills that are really needed. But they are working on the streets, not having anything to do. So if we say because of brain drain, these people should stay here, the question is, what are you giving them to do? Nothing. So for me, if there's a way we can get a lot of these people to countries that need them through a well-arranged system like for the nurses, where it's a government-to-government arrangement, for people to go out there and get employed to work. It will give them the opportunity to get something to feed themselves, their families, and will also reduce the pressure of unemployment in the system. And for me, that is critical. If you look at the SNIT data as of February last year, SNIT said they have 1.5 million employees who pay their SNIT to them. When they look at the salaries, the records of salaries, 375,000, which is 25% of that number, they earn less than 400 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
Okay? And then 50%, if you divide the figure into two, which is 750,000, they earn 1,000 cedis and below as salary in this country a month. So even those who are employed, what they earn as salary is woefully inadequate. So if they are earning this, where is the opportunity for others to come on board? And these are not only private employees, these are both public and private sector employees. We have only 1.5 million on SNIT's own record. So you ask yourself, we say we churn out about 100,000 graduates every year. Where are all of them?
Yeah.
They are all in the system, and many are struggling to find a job to survive. So for me, it will be smart on our part if we can group these people, give them, even the country say, okay, I need them to this level, and government can spend money to polish them to that level and send them there. It will far better. Imagine 100,000 NAPCO graduates that we are giving 700 cedis a month. 700 times 10 is 7,000. We said they should be on for 3 years. So you are going to spend over 22,000 on one person for the 3 years. Imagine that you have an arrangement with a country that I need these people, but spend 10,000 to upgrade them to this level and send them to me, and that burden is off you. Would it now not be a better option to spend 10,000 to upgrade that person to the level and send the person out there to have a permanent job than to pay the person 22,000 plus in 2-3 years? After that, the person is off the scheme and still has no job, becomes unemployed in the system. It doesn't help us in any way.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Introduces charcoal and lemon essence. The unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family, because every smile matters.
Welcome back. Moving on to the next story, the next conversation. We want to talk about the election 2020, and there's a lot of things happening in the undercurrents as we prepare for that. The story here says we are considering loan system for needy tertiary students. All right, so this is coming from the president. The president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, says his administration is looking towards a loan system that will adequately cater for deprived students who can't pay for tertiary education. This comes on the back of his administration's much touted free senior high school and technical vocation education and training introduced in 2017. Following this, there have been growing concerns about how persons from very deprived homes will be able to access tertiary education. Though he did not give timelines, he promised that the policy will be adequately spelled out in the MPP's 2020 manifesto. Speaking on Kumasi-based Wuntumi Radio in the Ashanti region, the president said that the initiative was geared towards developing the human resources of the country. The number one asset of any country is its people. Quote, if you can commit to developing the people, you are committed to the development of the country. That is why I have indicated that if I am voted into power, free senior high school will be a priority for us. As we are looking at how to make universities accessible, we don't have funding for free tertiary education. But we can organize a system where the government will give loans to students and they can repay after their education. We have to move that way because we want the development of our human material as a matter of urgent priority. We're not going to give a timetable to it, but we will take steps to implement it. All right. Then another quick story. This is from the NDC. NDC's free primary health care plan will cost $18 million. This is 80 million.
Is it million or billion?
Million. That's what the story says. Million. That's Alex Sebefia. Alex Sebefia, the National Democratic Congress deputy campaign manager, has put a cost on his party's free primary health care promise. Giving more insight into the promise, first revealed by the NDC flag bearer, Dr. Sebefia said it will cost $80 million. It is to cover persons who seek health care services at the district level and lower. We have costed it. It's going to cost us $80 million. In that policy, we are saying that anybody who goes to a district hospital and below will get free health care. Beyond the cost, the NDC expects this policy to ease pressure on major hospitals, allowing them to focus more on critical health care areas. All right, so the story goes on there. But let me start with you, Mr. Amido. Are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. All right, okay. So before you went off, I don't know if you want to sum up what you were saying earlier, and then let's get into the conversation now, discussing what the election 2020, prepping for the elections. The NDC is talking about health care, looking at 80 million to ease the pressure on our tertiary and quaternary institutions. And then also the MPP is looking at, the president has made a promise that a loan scheme will be set up to help the teeming masses from the SHSs to be able to access the tertiary education as well.
Okay. So very quickly on the COVID, I think that we should ensure that the ways in which we test and treat asymptomatic people, is revised in the light of what has happened in Barbados. And I cited the example of those Ghanaians who have come back from other places, quarantined for 14 days at the hotels, not giving their test results, and then asked to go home. This should be a big wake-up call for us. On the wider case count, I think that in a way we are lulling ourselves into a false sense of security. We have these cases, but we have these recoveries, so it's not alarming. And that is reflected in the ways in which ordinary citizens have started lowering their guards. They kind of heighten awareness and compliance with the protocols. Every day, you see this compliance going down. And, we don't fully understand COVID. And so we shouldn't lull ourselves into a false sense of, things are okay, only to be hit later on with something. Because even in Europe, they're having this second, third surges. Yeah. And one wonders whether we would replicate that. I mean, that would happen here or not. But let's err on the side of caution and ensure that especially government continues to send out the kind of signals that will put all of us on our guard. Because apart from a few middle-class neighborhoods in Accra, the rest of Accra, which is the capital, you go there, it's life as normal. And it's even worse when you go beyond Accra. So I think, honestly, that let's not lull ourselves into a false sense of, let's just assume that the worst will happen and then work on that basis. So if it doesn't happen, there's no problem. If it does happen, we are prepared. Now with the manifesto promises, for me, the first thing is that I'm happy both parties are focusing on social services. That has been one of the weaknesses, in our governance. That a lot of the promises focus on physical access. I mean, we'll get you roads, we'll get you toilets, we'll get you this. Now we're beginning to see a lot of attention on access to social services, which is really good and which is a requirement for sustainable development. Now with the MPP promise, I think there are a number of, it's welcome news. Those of us who went to the university in the 80s, will tell you the role that the loan scheme played, in our survival. But the numbers have changed drastically. Not only in terms of those in the universities as we know them, but even in the other institutions that are now classified as, tertiary or degree award in the polytechnics, the former polytechnics, the training colleges, and etc. How much would this scheme cost? What is the link with the current loan scheme that we are implementing? Are there any lessons from the current loan scheme that we would need to factor in order to improve what the president is proposing?
Yeah.
And I think the last point on that one, which is just a caution, is that in our days, again, you came out of university and, getting a job was not really much of a hassle. Sometimes some of the employers even came on campus and to recruit. These days, you do have people who come out 2, 3, whatever years, they are there without jobs. Repayment becomes a problem. Interest keeps on piling. And before you realize, these young people are walking through life with this huge debts hanging on their necks. And it's happening in the UK, it's happening in the US. We may say their circumstances are different, but there are lessons for us to learn.
Yeah.
Are there some elements of the cost that will be financed by the loans the government can take up? Especially if we are seeing that quality education is a necessary condition for the development of this country. What can we take out of what students should be covering and ask governments, maybe private sector fund, whatever, to take up so that the loan doesn't then become a huge burden on the students in future? So those are the questions that I would ask about the loans for tertiary institutions. With respect to the NDC's
healthcare,
free healthcare, again, almost similar questions. What is it going to be the link between what is being proposed and the National Health Insurance Scheme? Are there some elements that are not covered under the National Health Insurance that this free healthcare scheme being proposed by the NDC will take up? Or could we use that money to beef up the NHIS? Because we've started it, we've tried it, we've seen where the challenges are.
Yeah.
The second element for me is also the fact that quality healthcare has a number of dimensions. So access to to primary healthcare, it's one of the elements. I haven't seen the full manifesto document to know how the link is made between this promise and the other things that are required in order to ensure access to quality healthcare. Unless we make those linkages, these silo approaches, and I'm using that word advisedly because I haven't seen the document, so the linkages may be there.
Yeah.
But if these linkages are not there, then we are going to just throw money down the drain because the person gets there, but the kind of health personnel that you are talking about will not be there. So what is what is really the value of the access? When President Akufo-Addo announced the construction or the intention to construct 88 hospitals and etc., one of the key questions that I asked myself was, where do we have the personnel required to man this or woman this or staff these facilities?
Yeah.
And if we don't we need, a similar initiative to ensure that the conditions that would make these 88 hospitals, functional, are also put in place? And the third element that I would just ask very quickly about this is that, we tend to have this situation where a new government comes and everything that was started under the previous government is thrown completely out of the window and then we start afresh. What would be the linkages between what is already ongoing by the current government, what has been promised by the current government, and the manifesto of the NDC? Will they seek to build on some of this, or it will just be a fresh start altogether? In which case, by the time we realize another 4 years is gone and not so much has happened. So that would be my take on the two instances. But I'm really happy that the two major political parties are beginning to focus attention on access to quality social services for all Ghanaians, irrespective of social status and background.
Thank you for that. Elvis, your comment on this?
Personally, I am from a very poor background, and as I gave you the salary structure of how people are paid in this country. Based on this condition, I am somebody who is an advocate for free things, because I believe that people need these free things to top up the low salaries and be able to solve some problems in the family. So I am an advocate for free things for this country. So me, that one, take it from me. But in the midst of the free things, we need to ask very reasonable questions. So Nana is talking about a loan scheme. The students' loan scheme already is there. So how different is this one going to be? So we need to get to know how different this one is going to be. And when it says a loan, is it that the new one that will have a lower interest rate than the one that are already giving? Can't we reform the current loan scheme and make it what we want it to be? Do we have to take it? So I think that we need better and further particulars on how they intend to do it. The cost to the state in terms of how much it will cost a year to fund that loan scheme, and how different is that from the current loan scheme? I think we need to get some of these tests done. I will want a system that rewards brilliant but needy people to go and do courses that will be relevant to the state for free. Germany has just doubled the fees at the university level for those who are doing social sciences. But those who are doing the actual science, the courses they think are needed for their development, they are paying lower. So if the person who is doing science or architecture or engineering is paying maybe €1,000, you the person doing marketing, media or the other, you pay €2,000. So you are paying 100% more than the person who is doing a course that the state believes that these are the things we need for the progress of our country. And I think that for Ghana, I know that medical school is highly subsidized, but we should go beyond medical school and look at other areas. We should determine what skills we really need in this country, and either make the study of those subjects entirely free or highly subsidized, so that it can attract people to those sectors, because that is what we need. If we are talking about skills to develop, it's about specific skills that you need. You can have a lot of graduates, but if the skills they acquire are not the urgently needed ones for critical sectors of your economy, you have them, but it will not influence your development. So for me, I think that beyond the loan scheme Nana is talking about, I think what we really need to look at is what are the critical areas do we need? If we think agriculture employs 50% of Ghanaians, we want to revolutionize and modernize agriculture and make it more attractive to the people. So people will go and do agri. We want to make it free so that people will be attracted to that sector. I think these are some of the things that we really have to look at and make sure that people do the right course that Ghana need in terms of our development. So I think that he said this in the manifesto. We don't know when the manifestos will be launched, so we will still be commenting. But these are some of the things I expected that if they are coming with a certain scheme, it should take care of. And I'll be happy that they are able to take care of these things so that we can say we now know which sectors of our economy are important. We are training people for it. We are paying for it at a highly subsidized. We've made it completely free for people like that to be able to go. And for me, I'll support anything like that, because that is what we need now. I've said it before. We said we are doing one district, one factory. Have we identified the skills needs of people who will work in these industries? Do we have enough of those people in the country? If we don't have it, how do we have a training scheme to get those people? We have 5 automobile companies now that are trying to set up in Ghana. I hear maybe the president may commission VW today. The question is, what kind of training scheme do we have in place for people who want to go into the automobile industry, to train them to the highest level of automobile engineering, for them to be able to contribute significantly to that sector in terms of employment? So we need some of these policies. The primary healthcare issue of the NDC, $18 million. I'm asking myself, what is $18 million going to cover? So I think they also need to come up, now that they've given us figure, now they should give us what really they meant by primary healthcare, and what will it cover if you go to that hospital. I pay for NHS because I work and I pay my SNIT. I have not renewed my NHIS card for the past 3 years, because when I go to that same hospital, every medicine they give me is not covered by NHIS. So the card only covers my folder, which cost 40 cedis to take. And for that reason, I really don't see the need to go and hustle and renew that card. When I get to test 7, it can only pick a card. All the medicine they write for me, I have to pay for it. So that's okay, let me take it that other members of my family who are not contributing to SNIT are enjoying it. So if they take from my SNIT and I'm not enjoying it, they will enjoy it. So I go to test 7 and pay for even the picking of my folder myself. So they need to let us understand. Because I remember that in 2015, NHIS set up a committee under one Dr. Chris Atim to review their operations to see whether primary health care is possible. And in April 2016, actually I wrote that story in the Finder.
Okay.
They came out with a report where they recommended that a free compulsory primary health care will be implemented. But from April 2016 to today, we have not heard anything from NHIS about this free primary health care, which was recommended as far back as April 2016. The question NHIS should be asking, telling us, why haven't we heard anything about it? Is it that the cost involved is so big that they can't afford? Because we know the challenges the NHIS, which I just told you that can only take a folder for me at 37. We know the challenges is going, the funding crisis that the NHIS has been going through. So if we are going to make it free or part of it free, what is the cost and how do we manage that cost? So I think that it's not a bad idea to say want to primary health care, but if I go to the hospital, they say district level. If I go to the district level, what medicine? Now I'm not sure this level is going to give you every service for free. They also prescribe quite expensive medicine for you, depending upon your health condition. So we can't be told that if you go to the district health for me that your health care will be free. No, that's not primary health care. Primary health care has critical specific areas. They should list them. If you have malaria, you'll be given artisanal modality. It's 25, so it's for free. This will be given to you free. This will be given to you free. If your disease is beyond that, if it is this, it is not covered. So that we are clear in our mind. Okay, we need this because under Professor Moss, NDC promised one-time payment for premium for NHIS. They couldn't implement it because it was obvious that the cost was going to be a problem. So I think that both Nana and Mahama, these two promises, I pray that they launch their manifestos as quickly as possible so that we can see the details, because the devil is in the detail. What are the timelines? How much will it cost? Who are the beneficiaries? We'll be able to interrogate some of these things deeply before we vote for them, so that when they come to power, we know exactly what they are going to do with these promises.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's get into our final topic, and the lynching of the 90-year-old woman is the prosecutions and the cases progressing. The story here says, citynewsroom.com, it says, key suspect in lynching of 90-year-old woman to be arraigned today. One of the key suspects in the torturing to death of 90-year-old Ikria Dente at Kafaba will be arraigned today, August 3rd, 2020. Latifa Bumaye was arrested last week at Kejewu Bato, a fishing community along the Volta Lake. She was seen in a viral video continuously hitting the deceased with an object. The deceased, Ikria Dente, a fortnight ago, was tortured after she was accused of being a witch. The Savannah Regional Police earlier arrested 5 persons who are also linked to the incident. They have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder and have been remanded in police custody to reappear before the court on August 20th, 2020. Speaking to City News, Savannah Regional Police Commander DCOP Enoch Educhum Bediako said investigations are still ongoing. And I quote, she was arrested on Monday at Kejewu, a small community along the Volta Lake. All she keeps saying is that she doesn't know what is happening to her. Our investigations are still ongoing, but we will put her before court today to seek remand as investigations continue. She has not been able to tell us where the priestess, as the other suspect, is. Let me come back to you, Ibrahim Tanko. Your thoughts on proceedings so far as this case is concerned?
Okay, thank you very much. And I think I will start by congratulating the law enforcement agencies for the speedy manner in which they've been able to arrest at least some of the key suspects and processing them for court. But as we have learned from the Major Mahama story, it is one thing apprehending the suspects, and it is another thing getting justice done as expeditiously as possible. It's how many years since the lynching of Major Mahama, and the case is still, crawling its way through the legal system. Nobody is talking about applying extrajudicial methods to punishing those who are supposed to have committed the heinous crime. But we think that our judicial system sometimes, doesn't make it, doesn't incentivize, if I'll put it that way, people relying on it to seek justice for, these kinds of crimes. But I also want to congratulate Ghanaians, for the kind of outreach, but the mobilization that put pressure on everybody. And it is that kind of active citizenship, I think, that would help us to also deal with other issues that come up that require expeditious attention and resolution. So we need to keep up that thing. But on a more general note, I think we need to situate the issue of Equiadente in the wider context of the ways in which our culture, traditions, religion, etc., have sought to, in a way, criminalize, old age, criminalize poverty, and criminalize, people who do not have powerful children, family, relatives. So if you are and to criminalize old women. So there's the issue of the gender, there's the issue of the age, there's the issue of
poverty.
All coming together in a very toxic mix that exposes people who fall within this to danger.
All right.
Equiadente's case is just a tip. I wouldn't say iceberg because I've never seen an iceberg, but a tip of whatever that is supposed to be our daily. Similar incidents, maybe not resulting in death, but similar things are going on. Shortly after Major Mohammed's lynching, there were two cases of, brutalization of alleged witches in parts of the Upper East region. We listened to so-called men of God, pastors, whatever, talking about witches in your family, and you can point to somebody. We have seen videos of small children being made to confess on live TV
that they are witches,
and etc. So we can just focusing exclusively on Equiadente's case would just be a kind of a firefighting thing. We're just kicking the ball down the line until the next Equiadente comes up, and then the outreach, and then the outreach. It is time for us to turn this outreach into a mobilization to address the systemic issues that are leading to these kinds of things.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Elvis, your final thoughts.
The judge who is sitting on the case, not more than 1 month. She should send who beat the woman to death to jail for life. Okay, all the people who stood in the community and watched, they should all be arrested. Everyone should serve 1 year in jail
for standing by and doing
nothing. Watch and doing nothing. They say they abetted the crime, so they should also go to jail for 1 year. See, then on top of that, we need the Equiadente anti-witchcraft law. Okay, where we pass a law quickly on the certificates of agency, which says that no one has the power to declare anybody a witch in this country. Pastors, fetish priests have divided families and caused pain by declaring people
anti-witchcraft law.
Anti-witchcraft law. The anti-witchcraft law. No one should have the power to declare anybody a witch in this country. And if somebody wants to declare him or herself a witch, he has the right to do so. Because we are a secular state
you can declare yourself.
You can declare yourself a witch. Okay, and nobody has the right. If you declare yourself a Christian and you say the Holy Spirit is working in you, nobody attacks you. If you say you are a Muslim, nobody attacks you. If you say you are traditional, nobody attacks you. Why should I declare myself a witch and you attack me? So I think we should make it clear. I can declare myself a witch or a wizard. and I'll practice in freedom. That is what our constitution says. But nobody should have the right to declare anybody a witch. And nobody should have the right to attack it. So you see, that law will be clear that if you pronounce that somebody is a witch, you go to jail for 10 years. Okay? Then we criminalize declaration of people as witches in this country. If you have the power to determine who is a witch, okay, use the same power to neutralize the witchcraft or bewitch the person. That is what a spiritual fight is about.
Thank you very much.
You can't see something in the spirit and come and tell me to go and use a physical action to neutralize it. It doesn't work. We must be bold. If you go to every village in this country, every community, rural community, and you ask who are the witches, they will mention names and point you to certain people and say, these are the witches in the community. It is widespread. This is a point of call for us to be bold and say, nobody in Ghana can declare anybody a witch. Once you say Elvis is a wizard, we take you to jail for 10 years.
Thank you.
That's how we will end this nonsense.
We want to say a big thank you to Elvis Darko, who is the editor of the Finder newspaper, and to Ibrahim Tanko Amidou, the executive director of Star Ghana Foundation. Thank you very much for watching this segment of the show. Up next is nutrition. We're going to be discussing very, very important things that we need to learn about nutrition and the fact that we are fighting COVID and fighting aggressively. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
There are those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life-changing stories, and lasting legacies. They tell their stories themselves on footprints. Yes.
Oh, at some point, we are taking the step. Unfortunately, he was dragging the country into an abyss. Yeah. So we saw it. But they have held power, the guns and so forth. Who were we to? We just watched. But by, I believe, 74-5, the country was seeing through him that this man was a total misfit.
But he was a happy man.
Because in Akan there's a proverb.
Be inspired by their hard work and resilience that led to their outstanding achievements as we trace their footsteps through time.
Lincoln, we have one of our, school member died or whatever, so we have to go there and perform during the funeral, whatever. And then I was feeling thirsty, so there was but those days it's not like pure water or whatever. They sell the water in a bottle. Yeah, stuff like that. So there was a bottle there. I thought it was just a water. No, it was application. So I just took it. When I drank it, before I realized, Charlie. So what happened to me? I was like, Charlie, I've never touched. So since then, I've never touched alcohol.
Okay, so you didn't drink alcohol, and you never smoked?
Smoked, no way. No.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
Never.
Then who comes out of the car? Chachu Chikata and Kojo Chikata. And the Chachu told me that they have, Kojo was sick since the morning, and he has been tortured and whatnot, and they have come for medical attention. Of course, naturally, I have to look after them, even though they are very close relatives. So I look at Kojo, I examine him, I notice that he's definitely been tortured. And there was blood, deep-seated blood in the ears, we can see that clearly.
So join me, Samuel Atamensa, and my guests every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. for Footprints, only on City TV.
Footprint is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
You got a choice. You got talent. You got a chance, and I won't hear about your environment, what your mama didn't give you, and the white man won't give you no shot. You got a chance. Use it while you're still alive. You don't know what death is. You have no idea what death is.
Listen, this is the life of a young boy with ambition to make it on my own. When your fantasy, man, we go sell out for the dome. If not for anything now, we go show them say we came and we saw and we conquered with the homies all involved. Homies were the hardest, but my heart is in my songs. That's why I bought for my city, but I'm far away from home. Far away from my mom while I made me for Grammy. Me believe it's so soon that people gonna ask about me. Then tell them I'm on a soul mission to make a change. Hit me with the bullet, but you never stop the rain. I'm coming like I'm having an orgasm. Oh, baby, I'm troublesome. Blow no juju on them, some inflammable. Heavily recipe, and so come the wabe febidi. Make it tell nobody. Man, this is a secret society. One eye open, but I'm still tree smoking. I can see the peace in me, but I still feel choking. Life is a dream, me. Grinding with the rhymes is a teen, and I'm not yamming and me witness. Split it to set up, I get not mamming into tick. Harder and mistakes into check up in your statistics. Whoa, you know I'm here to light the fire up. Put a little dope in your soul, then get you higher up. Can't stop the fire, you can't stop the waka. Man, I still the suffer, no be a cool to be a better. War going on in my mind and in my song. And until the war is won, I'ma keep on killing it like it is a villain inside of me. You feeling it right? And what's that me? Said yeah, baby, I mean a piece of the pie. Crazy, I don't wanna wait. Man, it's now or never. I'm in the show, be facey. See my back against the wall, but I still face it. Now I'm here to make millions, I'm a dream chaser. Started ever since, and all I wanted was to win. Now boys in the big ceramic trying to take out the vim. Now crown I'm now that was making me a king. Now they make a casapa found set me used to go sim. Me GD tina maba me die soon tina menda. So me come me koto join anymore. I feel it's more than a prayer. Wanna change my life for better, getting fed until I'm fed up. Lord give me wings and help me let me fly further. Picture me rolling as a banker for my corner. Excuse me, but I'm really doing what I wanna. GO18 so me yeah grandma. I got them like I'm Adam, make it tell them milli grandma. Cause I wanna blow even before Bona. But I'm a young dog and also I'm a stoner. On the upper class, you can tell with my diploma. They all know I am, so I know they talk it for now. Give me my way, me my will bye bye. Feeling like I'm shut down, so bend my man kai why. Welcome to the thug life. More than my papa in the mall. I got too much drive to the machawa pie with car tie. Where you food for drug me, my wife drink a crap. Nelly never track now. As a boy, not many that do I make shop up. I feel like I'm Kobolon to who's a begin me tia. It's like an escape from sorry but to bear my day God. Make what pray hard. Yes, you go for a pray. Let's pack it in Nika. I'll be grinding all day. Got a bash up in my mind. No time for party. I got dreams of riding on horses and Porsche. Selling out toys. Have a dream. I have it all. Now I'm really trying to wake up, stay up and take it all. I know the world is mine. The world is in my mind. I came to look for gold cause the world is just a mine. Put it in the line. Make you dig it when I rhyme. No, I'm trying to make the 7-figure diggers in my time. Cash rules everything around me. That's a me I come in my girlie now want me. That's a shaman one. I wake up in 1990. Now me say baby I'm flow like a tsunami. Munjami. Let me make I do my thing, Joe. It's a YG, I'm making back bamboo. And you know, and you know, and you know, and you know. With the flow, with the flow. Thank you.
Kofi Jamal. We'll be talking to him shortly. But it's a Monday, so we're talking all things nutrition. And today we'll be discussing fighting diabetes with nutrition. Now, if you have any questions for us throughout the conversation, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. And the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I have with me state-registered nutritionist Akosia Konedu Yadom. Good morning, Akosia.
Good morning, Jifa.
How are you?
I'm well. Yourself?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being with us.
Always a pleasure.
Now, diabetes, can you explain what it is before we even talk about battling it with nutrition?
Okay, so it has to do with high blood sugar levels or high blood glucose. It's the spike as far as the glucose in our body is concerned. Glucose is very important. It's the fuel for energy as far as our body is able, our body's ability to move, to work. Everything we do, I am talking, it's as a result of the energy in me, which is glucose. So yes, glucose is important, but diabetes is where there is more than you will need in the system.
And what happens in your body once that happens, once you have diabetes?
Okay, so we have types. Yes, and the type or what you have will determine what goes on in your body. But obviously, once it has to do with a sugar spike, we've spoken this extensively. I spoke about the fact that in various other presentations that our bodies have individual needs. My body has needs, your body will have its needs. And your body is different from my body. Our makeup is different. And so my needs will definitely be different from your need. And so it is important for us all to have glucose in our system or to have energy, yes, in our system. We need the macronutrients, we need the micronutrients, but there should be the right portion. And as far as what we are putting in is concerned, to help us have what we just need as far as our body is concerned. Because when you give our bodies more than we can have, as example, this is the direction as far as the spatula meals or what we call bankuta, whatever we stir. So the spatula meals, this is my guide as far as my portion. So let's say if it's banku, if it's kokonte, if it's omutuo, whatever it is as far as the spatula meals, fufu, this is my guide. So if I end up giving my body 2 or 3 of this, my body will just use what it needs, and then the rest will hit the
so
system.
It will store the excess glucose.
Yes, and then it will, as soon as we draw samples, you have sugar floating in your system.
Wow. So what kind of meals should we eat to manage diabetes?
Okay, so like I said, we have to talk about the types. We have types, and then we have the type 1. They are insulin dependent diabetes mellitus or juvenile onset diabetes mellitus, and we have them dependent solely on insulin for survival because their pancreas is not able to make enough insulin, or sometimes in some people it is zero. There is no production of insulin for the body to use up, and so yes, that person will need to depend on insulin medications for survival. And we have the type 2 diabetes, which is what is common. It normally happens in person above 30 years. And when you are 40, you have an increased risk. And if you are 65 or above 65, you are 25% more at risk of having diabetes. So I always say that we don't have to be too excited about the fact that I am aging. Once you are aging, it means that it comes with certain responsibilities. You need to make certain adjustments. Once you hit 30, there are certain things you were doing in your 20s you have to shun or cut down on, so that you can really influence on your life. We have secondary diabetes. Secondary diabetes happens as a result of other conditions. So I am being treated for, let's say, trauma. I am being treated for chronic pancreatitis, where it has to do with the excess consumption of alcohol that affects or destroys the pancreas. So once your pancreas is destroyed, it means that it will be difficult for insulin to be made for the body use up. So that is secondary diabetes. And then we have gestational diabetes. It happens in pregnant women. So based on what you have for the first one, like I said, that one, it's more genetically inclined. So you may be doing everything right, but it happened. Yes, because you have a family history of that. It's part of the causes, ethnic background. So people, African Americans are at a higher risk of having it. So depending on where you find yourself as far as your genetic makeup or your family background is concerned, you can be at risk of gestational of diabetes. Sorry. So
that's the type 1.
That's the type 1, and the type 2 I've spoken about it. So type
2 will mainly be from
diabetes
your own
mellitus.
habits.
So type 2 basically has to do with lifestyle choices. Bad nutrition is one. So what you put inside you is one. And then the second one has to do with your body as far as your BMI is concerned, your waist to hip, your waist to height. So we spoke about this last week. As far as your waist to hip, waist to height is concerned, you can go to CityTube and find it so that you understand. We have to move on. And then if your BMI is not within the healthy BMI zone, then it means that you don't have a healthy weight. So if it's not between 18.5 or 18 to 25, then it means that you are either overweight. We are not speaking about underweight here. So if you're above 25, you are overweight. If you're above 30, you are obese. So if you are overweight or obese, it can also influence your chances of having the type 2 diabetes. And then, yes, aside the eating, aside the weight, the third one has to do with physical inactivity. There are people who are too sedentary than the word. So they are engaged in nothing. Instead of walking down the stairs to pick this, they prefer to send an email. They prefer to call the aide or the assistant. They prefer to call the cleaner to even come and wipe something they've poured on the floor. So if you are physically not active, yes, it means that you are at risk. And we've spoken at length too about the number of times you can exercise. So you can view the nutrition segment on CityTube, and you have them all.
Definitely. So, Akosia, what kinds of meals should we gravitate towards if we're trying to manage our diabetes, and what kind of meals should we cut out of our diet completely so that we don't increase our blood sugar level? Okay,
so for the ones to cut out, we have to look out for, before you can stay safe, you have to look for foods that are low in glycemic index. Okay. So glycemic index has to do with how fast sugar, or you derive sugar from what you eat. So you stay off refined foods. Okay. We are preaching Ghanaian rice. We have the local brown rice. It comes with the germ, it comes with fiber, and so it is a better alternative compared to the polished or the refined rice. If you are found of, there are people who go like, I don't take sugar, I do honey. They are all sugar, darling. So you have to make sure you cut down on the consumption of some of these things. So sugar added foods, fast food, most importantly, you have to make sure you are cutting down on these fast foods, cakes, raisins, fruit juices. In as much as we speak about the fact that fruits are healthy, you have to be guided on the portioning. If I design a meal plan for a client, I give you the portioning, what you have to do and what you don't have to do. So the fact that we sit here and speak or preach about fresh fruit juice doesn't mean that it should be something you are taking. There are people who take coconut water because they think it contains potassium and vitamin E and replace it with water. Water is water. Coconut juice can never be water. So you have to be guided as far as how you regulate or take some of these foods are concerned. So these are high glycemic index foods. They are the foods you should avoid. Number one is noodles. I will preach this out every day and every time. Noodles are not healthy for you. Refined rice and foods, baked foods, pastries, cakes, croissants, donuts, cranberry, waffle, all the examples you can see. It doesn't mean that you should rule them outrightly. It means that you should be taking these things with care. So once every week, you can just slap it in as far as your meals are concerned, if you have the condition or if you've been at borderline.
I find number 9 interesting, granola. Why can't you take that?
Because
especially
people,
if you use it with your yogurt.
Yes, people think that it is good, and I've had a lot of people come to me, private clients go like, oh, I use granola. Like I said, Jifa, the fact that we say that something is good doesn't mean that you should stick and stay with them. Do you get it? Because granola will never taste like the way wheat would taste. It never tastes like the way, let's say, oat or barley would taste. it means that something, it comes with, it's sweet.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's sweet. So anything that is sweet will have to be consumed in moderation because you are trying to cut down the sugar in your blood. So whatever will spike your blood sugar levels need to be checked.
Okay, now we're going to look at what we should be eating. But if you have any questions for Akosia as we're discussing this topic, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. Now more than ever, we need to ensure that we don't have diabetes, and if we do have diabetes, we manage it well, because we know that a strong immune system would be what will help us all survive coronavirus. So it's really important that we begin to pay attention to the kinds of things we put into our bodies, and if we have diabetes, learn how to fight it by eating the right meals. Akosia, what substitutes should we have for these things that we shouldn't consume?
Okay, so to start with, for low glycemic index foods, they will slowly introduce sugar into your system. So it's like one step at a time. Your body is able to use every sugar you are giving to your body. So we may be eating the same portions as far as quantity is concerned. But at the end of the day, because mine has a lower glycemic index, I wouldn't spike my sugar levels as you. So we have whole meals, example, oat, barley, wheat. So the whole meal foods, you should make sure they are part of your meals. Fortified maize, they are all good. We have vegetables, the green leafy vegetables, we have carrots, we have cucumber, broccoli, whatever works for you as far as the greens are concerned, you should use it. We have fruits. We spoke about fruits in the other part, it is here. We are paying focus as far as what raises your blood sugar level to the sweets. Mango, banana, so the
those
sweets.
Are high in
those are
sugar.
high in sugar, so they should be taken in moderation. And here we are talking about watermelon, we are talking about the Granny Smith apple, that's a green one. We are talking about orange, we are talking about avocado. So orange is a sweet fruit, but like I always say, one orange a day can even serve you a daily need of ascorbic acid. And then lean meat, being beef, being poultry, being chicken, mutton, pork, or game, you should do the lean part. The lean part comes with zero fat, and you should know the right portioning to do. If you don't understand much about portioning, you can watch our other segments, or you can get in touch.
Yeah, on cctube.com. So when it comes to meat, you can definitely eat beef, poultry. Pork has a lot of fat. Won't that turn into sugar eventually?
Pork I don't want to preach about pork because we abuse pork in our part of the world, but pork, the fat in pork, lard, is very healthy as compared to all the other fats, some of the other fats in some of these meats. So like I said, whatever you are doing, do the lean part. Example, poultry, let's say chicken, the breast. Is the healthiest part, is the lean part. Yes, so you should know where to go, where to go as far as what you are eating is concerned. If you buy from the supermarket, obviously there is a lean section as far as how meat is even presented.
What role does alcohol play in all of this? Because there are a lot of people who drink beer, and that it's not necessarily too good if you're diabetic.
I spoke about chronic pancreatitis, and it has to do with people who consume excess, or they give their bodies much alcohol, where the pancreas is destroyed. So obviously, if you don't have a pancreas, you have to depend on insulin medications to survive.
Yeah.
So after giving you this, I don't know what else I can give you as far as alcohol consumption is concerned. Stay nutritious, stay healthy, do things that slows your blood sugar spike, and you should be fine, because there is this presenter, I'll say it again, he just died, and everybody all of a sudden was this. I don't.
Well, we wouldn't know. We don't know what the causes were.
But it was sugar spike in the media. In the media space,
his doctors came out to say it.
But that was what was out. So I am saying that you need to pay attention to. The Honorable Kennedy Japan said it. I went to check my blood sugar level. So it is something we all should be concerned about. You are eating. I am eating. I fast once every week. But at the end of the year, as far as 365 days are concerned, I should have eaten more than 1,000 times. So it means that blood sugar spike is something that will sit heavily on the desk as far as every home or individual is concerned.
So we've talked about the main meals. What kind of snacks should people who have diabetes take as well to make sure that they don't increase their blood sugars?
Let low glycemic index be the guide. So we projected some fruits. Watermelon is powerful. As far as antioxidants are concerned, it is loaded in water. Water is also good, but you can't put water in food section, but it's needed for the body's general functioning. We spoke about apple, the Granny Smith, that is the green one. It's very healthy. You can have a serving of plain salad. Yes.
So don't put too much salad cream
no dressing. The
things.
mayonnaise, it's junky. So we are not preaching junky or junk foods here. So you have to make sure that you can have half of a small piece of avocado, and that should be fine. It contains healthy fat. Avocado is one of the most healthiest food you can find. And then we have other examples for you to choose from. If you want to do an orange, like I said, if I'm doing an orange a day with a pop, it means that I'll have some fiber also in me. Where it is risky is where it is a sweet, but you are doing more. And we spoke about the fruit juices. Like I said, the fact that it is good doesn't mean that you should abuse it, because it will spike your blood sugar levels.
And we don't want to do that.
Yep. After Corona, I always say that we will be facing a lot of these things.
Yeah, I can imagine. So for people who are now starting the journey and might need a bit more help, where do they contact you?
Okay, so on Instagram, at The Nutritionist Akosia, on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Nutritionist Akosia, and you can call me on 0243 350206, 0243 350206.
The number again.
0243 350206.
Thank you very much, Akosia Kennedy, for being with us. And there you have it. If you have diabetes, it's not the end of the world, but you have to manage it well and you have to eat right. Stay away from refined meals, stay away from packaged foods, eat more meals that are nutritious. So for example, instead of just the rice that we import into the country, you can have parboiled rice, you can have fonio. Instead of getting juices in a package, you can actually drink the actual juice in moderation, and pay attention to the kinds of fruits you eat as well. If the sugars in those fruits are too high, it might spike up your blood sugar level. So it's important that we protect ourselves and that we make it through to this period. Up next, we're going to be making spicy prawns and millet salad. I mean, I can't wait. Chef Ruby is already here. She's setting up. Every time she's here, we know that we're going to get a great meal. But before that, we'll take a look at our entertainment highlights.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwamina. Ghanaian musician Wendy Shea entertained music fans to an hour non-stop live band music at a pay-per-view charity event dubbed Survival Concert. The concert was an initiative of the Shea Foundation with support from Rough Town Records and Create Concept. It was aimed at raising funds for the less privileged in the society to help alleviate poverty. Since it was founded in 2019, the Shea Foundation has had support from her label and other benevolent donors donating to various charities across the country, with most of the beneficiaries including widows, orphans, street kids, single mothers, prisoners, among others. Ghanaian Afropop artist Weyala has apologized for alluding in a recent video that some people fool themselves to win awards. Responding to critics who think she is more visible abroad than in Ghana, she said she would not do foolish songs or beef other artists to gain relevance in Ghana. She said in the video she posted on Instagram that critics should stop mentioning her name in their conversations if they think she doesn't matter in Ghana music industry. She noted that some have said that she's not making a great impact in Ghana because she does not focus her attention on Ghanaian music industry. But speaking to Joy FM in an interview on Saturday, she rather apologized, saying, "If any musician who has won an award feels hurt about what I said, I apologize," she said. She also apologized to other entertainment critics she bashed for taking their statements that she had more buzz on the international market than in Ghana out of context. She noted that she made those statements out of emotions and the fact that she has lost business from statements that she is not part of the Ghanaian music industry. Nigerian artist Wizkid hints that the American company Disney owes him a huge sum of money. He took to his Twitter page to say Disney owes him $100 million. Good day to wake up. Disney owes me $100 million, he wrote. His tweets got some Nigerians confused about what exactly might have triggered this debt. Since the singer shared his tweet, many Nigerians have been trying to understand how Disney could be owing Wizkid such a huge amount of money. Wizkid made the claim the same day Beyonce premiered her Black is King movie on Disney+. The movie is a visual album of Beyonce's 2019 The Lion King The Gift album, which features Wizkid. While some other fans think Wizkid is joking, others wish to know the details of the matter. And that's all for entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Atu Kwamina.
Tune in to The Point of View this and every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. as I, Bernard Avile, get the right guests, ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you.
What is the funding that we need? Do we actually sit down and leave things as they are? Or should we get more funding so that we can change how we do business as usual?
Even if you think of geopolitics and geoeconomics, we are entering an age where China wants to build its own internet, and we are seeing a new arms race, a technological arms race.
To be honest with you, it's politics. There are different dynamics in politics. I'm sure some people didn't give anything, some people gave some. It depends on the people you're working with.
Remember, The Point of View is live every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on City TV.
Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo Extra. Even our bonus data doesn't expire. You the film? Dial *111# to activate now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Representing a country is no small feat.
Because in Ghana, the love for Israel is so real, People are nursing it from home, from churches, and then you are walking in such a positive atmosphere and all the doors are open for you.
View the lives of the diplomats in Ghana through their very own eyes and see how they make Ghana their home.
I always loved it. I love the remains of African culture in Brazil. I am very interested in the way Africans were able to, amidst those horrible conditions, they were capable of transforming their African heritage.
Join me, Apioko Sarah Mashong Abe, on Diplomatic License every Saturday at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subject you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
Welcome back. It's time for us to get into the cooking segment. This morning I've been joined by Chef Ruby Painsel. She's the CEO and the current head chef of Chapter 1 Restaurant. Now, this morning we're going to be looking at a very interesting dish, spicy prawn and millet salad. Chef, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am great.
Fantastic. It's good to have you here again.
Oh, thank you so much.
Now let's get right into it.
Definitely.
This salad sounds very interesting.
Oh, definitely.
Spicy prawn.
I think
I haven't had any of that.
Yeah. I think what it is as a nation, we have the most amazing ingredients all around.
Okay.
And a lot of our normal common food are superfood. What I mean by superfood is a lot of this food that you eat and the nutrition value is just unbelievable. It's like you get a little bit of that into your diet, you are bouncing up and down walls like a bunny rabbit. And one thing with millet, as people are aware, it is actually the product they use to make cocoa.
Yes.
You know, that's a lot of people think you make it into a paste and fantastic. I mean, what would Ghana do with our beautiful cocoa?
Yeah.
Literally, we all were brought up on it, and it's such a great food. But what people don't also realize is this is grains that can be eaten in alternative to rice, alternative to the yams and things, because they actually are very good for you. And I think my motto is always that any food fills your stomach.
Yeah.
So why can't we just have some food that is quite healthy? And so this morning I brought in quite a lot of fresh things.
Okay.
My food on this particular show at the moment is just to show you how simple and easy you can put some of these things together yourself, and they're not difficult at the moment to pick up. We have the most amazing seafood in this country.
Okay.
Prawns, octopus, squid, they are literally the best we have around the world. If you see the values they have when they're outside, you'll be rushing to eat as much of those as you can.
Okay.
And the price-wise is quite good. So I brought that, and then sometimes trying to introduce salads to people are like,
yeah,
there's
I know.
no
That's
pepper.
a very Ghanaian thing, isn't it?
You know, there's no pepper, it's not quite spicy.
Yeah.
What I'm going to show people today is that you can have the spice that you want, the hotness, and still be filled. So this salad, like most things with my stuff, very simple. I'm going to start with the millet. And actually, when you cook this millet, we soak this, and then we make sure that all the dirt is out, the skin is coming up. And when you actually cook it by itself, it looks like this.
Nice.
When you wash it well, it actually looks like this.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And you don't need as much, especially when, you know, we looked at today's segment with, I was talking about diabetes and the things that you should eat and things. So you need to really be quite careful in terms of moderation, how much portions you're having. So even these little bits I put in there, I'm going to make it enough for 2 people.
Okay. Oh,
literally.
Wow.
So I like, the interesting thing about salad is, for me, it needs to be crunchy. It can't be just like some sort of thing. So I brought some cucumber, and cucumber is literally, what I've done is I peeled it, I've taken the seeds out, and I've sliced it. And the good thing with cucumber is literally full of water, but at the same time very
Super
tasty.
healthy. Yeah.
Fantastic vitamin C is the peppers, red peppers, because we, apart from eating and we're hungry, we also eat with our eyes.
Yeah.
The more attractive the food is to you, you're more inclined to want to eat it.
Okay.
And stuff. So if you're introducing yourself to something new, you want it to be attractive as possible, so that it invites you. So I'm giving myself some yellow peppers.
Okay.
At the same time, I always want crunch. I've got carrots here.
We've got carrots. Yeah.
And then I've sliced it quite thinly. Then we brought some red cabbage.
Nice.
I bet we went aware that red cabbage is also available. So I've got that. So even before I can say I'm going to mix this salad, look at the colors.
Yeah. Wow.
Look at
this
the
is
colors.
like a festival of antioxidants.
Fantastic. We're good to go. And then we got that. Those are sort of our main bits that we want to do. You want to put the lettuce in last minute, because the last thing you want to do is wilt that particular lettuce.
Okay.
So I'm just going to
mix it up. Nice. I
brought some dressing here.
Okay.
Which is quite hot. So this particular one is made with green chili, pakoshito.
Okay.
And then in there I have some mint, I have some basil, I have some coriander, some chili, some coconut oil, a little bit of coconut oil. This thing here is smoked salt that has been smoked, a little bit of that.
What's the value of that though?
The thing is, a lot of the time when we eat, we are a nation of flavor. Everything with us has got to be very flavorful.
Yeah.
So we're growing up with the dry fish actually being dried and smoked.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you bring familiar flavors into your meals. It makes it easy for you to be able to eat.
Right.
Because other than that, if you're alien to the particular taste, it becomes like a bit, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a little bit of that chili dressing, because I want to make sure that it's quite spicy. And in that dressing, it had a bit of honey as well in there. So I've now got something that's just very simple in there. On top of that, now I'm going to add some prawns in there. And all I've done is I have peeled.
Prawns look good.
Roasted. Want it to be very attractive, so we're going to give it a per person 5. We don't want to do that. I also actually brought in some octopus that roasted as well. Put a little bit of that in there. And then I always like the same with the flavors. Again, I wanted a little bit of rocket, because it has that peppery taste.
Okay, so you said this is what again?
Rocket lettuce.
Okay.
Rocket lettuce.
So it's a slightly different species from
definitely local.
Okay.
But I pretty much have put that in there because I just like a little bit of spicy. It has like, if you have that taste, it's a little bit peppery, a little bit strong in taste, and that. Then I have the local lettuce.
Yeah.
So if I'm at home and I'm going to present this, yes, I put some local lettuce in. I will literally put some lettuce at the bottom. So I have a bowl here.
Okay.
And then in here, I've done some tomato salsa. The tomato salsa has tomatoes, some chilies, some little bit of oil. It has onions in there, a little bit of crunch.
This is very exciting.
And then I put that in there. So actually you don't, all these things, we're not making stews, a lot of oil and that sort of thing. So I've got that in there, and it's literally that simple. To present it for a family, I'm going to put some lettuce in a bowl. Then I'm going to pour
it in.
the salad in, which is just a rare colors.
Wow. So literally in less than 5 minutes?
Yes.
Of course, you prepped everything ahead of time.
Yes,
so
and the preparation, we're talking about ordinary slices. We're not talking about some sort of long thing that we have to do. So I'm going to put some
salsa.
More salsa.
Okay.
I have some chili, more chili dressings here on them. And as you have it, you'll be able to put as much as you want. And then I always want to present it with a little bit of color. So I brought in some cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
To put on top of it. I also have avocado here, and if avocados are fantastic good fat. So when we are thinking about this type of thing, instead of I'm going to get vegetable oil, stew the thing to it's dead to the core.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying having your good old stew and rice is bad all the time, but everything in moderation.
Yeah.
So if I can have rice and stew one day, and then one day I'm just going to sit down and do something else, that can also be good.
Yeah.
And it's a different type of fat. And I love avocado in practically everything. I put a little bit of that. And I think even if you have kids, this type of thing is very easy to introduce to them, because it's not like they're alien to
some of the
things. Yeah, some of the things we put in. And it's also a great point to sort of have a little bit of education with them and, you know, sort of talk it through. And if you have a family or guests coming around, they come, this is sitting on a table for them to be able to help themselves too.
Yeah.
And we're not talking, and if you have a flatter bowl that you want to put this in, you can also do it in a way that all the ingredients I showed you can kind of put them in a segment, just like in a little round.
Okay.
And then before they even come and eat, you put a dressing on. Then you mix it together, so it adds to all that sort of experience when you're doing these things, really.
What's the caloric value of this?
You see, a lot of the time, a lot of things like lettuce, tomatoes, all these things that we have here, not much calories at all.
Yeah.
The trick with salads, what people do that they go wrong with it is that they make this beautiful healthy salad and then they put $1 of mayonnaise.
So
then you completely spoil what's the good that you're trying to do. All oils, whether they're good, whether they're vegetable oil, olive oil, have a very high content of calories in it. Even if they're good for you. So what you need to be more careful of is make sure that you are not having so much of oil-based sauces, rather like the tomato sauce. So for example, the tomato sauce that I brought, I could have put no oil in it at all, and it's still been just as brilliant as it is, and everything else. So that is where you have to watch out. So sometimes you can make a huge bowl of salad that the whole thing is like 300 calories, and then all of a sudden you come and put 2 tablespoons of oil dressing, and you double it, or sometimes even triple the calorie content. So this is where we need to be able to have. So having a big bowl of salad, no problem. And also be careful with the carbohydrate stuff. So as much as millet is fantastic, a lot of that in there will add to your calories. And also, if I'm doing the prawns, if I fry the prawns, then I'm adding more calories in there. But if I just grill the prawns, that also takes some of the calories away. So you can have everything. It's just that you need to be aware of how you put them together. I mean, I've had friends that's like the prawns, they'll be like, quick microwave, I'm good to go. And it will still do the trick the way that it has to do the trick. I'd rather use my fat content by having a yummy avocado in the salad, because that will be very tasty to eat, than to be putting some sort of vegetable oil and plenty on the prawns because I want to fry it. And then I'm denying myself of the avocado, which is more better texture and taste.
Absolutely.
And good fat.
Wow. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chef Ruby. It's been brilliant. I mean, I am struggling to control my salivary glands right now. You know, I'm having all sorts of chaos going on in my mouth. And I'm sure as you're watching this, you can see how easy and simple the whole process was. And I can't wait to, dig into this right now. So thank you very much to you, Chef Ruby. How do people find you?
Chef Ruby. I am on Instagram, Chef Ruby. Facebook, Chef Ruby as well. I love food, the conversation with food. I think that we don't exploit what we eat in this country enough. We are given all sorts of things and then we just go about it and we eat it. We need to be a little bit more better informed in what we're buying, what we're picking. So anybody that knows me, we can talk, we can do a lot of things about food. I have my degree in food science, so I really understand what food is all about. So you can reach me on my number 020-639-2311. Even if it's just conversation, I love for young people to get into that space that we can talk about it. I think on the market we have thrown a lot of foreign stuff that sometimes even the packaging we don't understand. And it's better for us to be able to be informed in what we're eating. We're not saying that everything in the market is bad, but what is it that we are even eating? What's in there? And also, are we given opportunity to actually have our natural stuff instead of a lot of this processed stuff? Because as a nation, that's not how we were brought up. We're very much up to now, very much you cook, you go to the market, you eat your food and things. And now young people are into a lot of this fast food, but be informed in terms of what is in it. So that you can make your own choice, decisions in where you eat and where you don't eat.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you very much. For those of you who've been watching and you're curious about this, we've got, so let's just run through quickly what we put in here. So we have the pear, which is avocado, The millet was in there.
Millet is in there, prawns are in there.
We have prawns, we have cucumber, we have cherry tomatoes, we have the yellow peppers.
Yellow and red pepper.
And red pepper, carrots.
Red cabbage. And then in terms of the dressing, what went into the dressing is that we had some coconut oil, we had chili, we had lemon juice, we had honey, smoked salt, we had coriander, we had mint, we had basil, and we had some chili as well in there, and a little bit of vinegar. And then the tomato salsa, what went in there was tomatoes, some chili peppers, and you want to use the bird eye chili because that's more ideal. And we had some onions in there. We had a little bit of olive oil, some lemon juice as well that went in there. And we mix it, and we had some coriander and lime in there, and we mix it all together. And you will be amazed with that particular ingredient, especially with a little bit of acid and that lime. It changes everything. You think you need the fat in it, you don't. You don't. You know, you don't have to have the fish in a stew. You can have the salsas, which is much more healthy alternative to your food.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing this with us. I want to say a big thank you to Chef Ruby. She is the CEO and the head chef at Chapter 1 Restaurant.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
About to change your Sunday night for the better.
Prophecy is not for useless things and loose, frivolous things. Prophecy is for weightier matters.
We will bring you the most captivating guests and explore the most amazing stories. Your way to stardom was really planned.
Calculated. It was falling in place.
I wanted like a specific future for myself. First, I'm gonna gain my popularity. Second, health must come from it. The life became upside down like this.
You know it. We will dazzle you with real life situations and examine mind-blowing topics.
Forbidden says he can pay me. I want to show him cash. Good one.
So is that what it's about?
Oh yes, I'll prove to this guy. Cash.
Draw your swords. Deuteronomy 8:3. Charge.
Join me, Frema Binyami,
and me, Ato Kwamna, every Sunday at 7 p.m. on City TV. Are you ready?
Upside Down, every Sunday, 7 p.m. only on City TV.
So, should you leave a cheating spouse?
Can you survive the marriage? I don't think so.
How do you deal with inappropriate family relationships?
For her to be married to you and still have the audacity to be romantically involved with your sister, it's serious.
And indeed, is love good enough reason to marry someone?
Your partner should yearn for you.
Join my sisters and me as we break down the issues, address the problems, and stir up the conversations right here on City TV every Friday night at 9 p.m. Sister is live on your favorite station And of course, you can send your messages ahead of time to jessica@cityfmonline.com. Don't forget, Friday nights at 9.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you guys so much for staying with us. Now, it's the extended version of the year of return because you were here exactly 1 year ago, Kofi Jama. How are you?
I'm doing great.
How have you been since? What have you been up to?
I've been on my grind trying to like get into the industry, so I've been dropping some couple of songs and videos and shoots all here and there. So yeah.
Wow.
I see. And what are some of the highlights of your years from since 2019 August when you were here last year till now? What are some of the highlights?
It seems this place was a blessing because after that I got the chance to be to feature Ice Prince, Somali and Calligraph Jones on one of my joints. Calligraph Jones, that's from East Africa, like Kenya, one of the biggest rappers out there. So that was like an international feature that got me out there on TV base and all those stuff. And I also had one with Stone Boy.
Wow.
That's a remix of one of my songs. That's Me Day Up.
Oh wow. Yeah. Tell us about your single.
Well,
lots of them. Pick one.
Yeah, I think Me Day Up is basically an inspirational song. Looking at where I came from, I need to motivate my people in the struggle and on the grind to always keep up. So Me Day Up has been a sort of an inspiration from my life to other people out there.
Wow. And what's next for you?
Well, I recently dropped an EP that's called the Truth EP. The Truth EP. Okay. That's like 6 tracks, diverse 6 tracks on it. So I'm still on like the promotion, and I'm still up in here and there trying to get out with the promotion.
Talk to us about the songs on it.
Yeah. Well, the first track is 1,000 Hours. That's a rap joint. It opens with a rap joint, and it's also an inspirational song too. And the second one is Me Day Up. That's the song I'm talking about. Yeah. And the third one is Cheer Me. That's a high life song, a pure high life song. That's featuring Sifa from Black Avenue Music. Wow. And the fourth one is Make You Mine. That's also a kwaito and like a Afro techno kind of blend sound. And the last one is Forward Ever. That's a dancehall inspired song. So I tried to blend it all up.
Nice. Amazing.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Super. Well, I think it's fantastic that you've done so much work. And how can people find your music?
Well, on all the streaming platforms, Audio Mac, iTunes, Deezer, Boomplay, Uptown, all of them. You just search Kofi Jamar, and the Kofi Jamar, Jamar. Okay. Yeah.
You have a video out.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it. What was the concept behind it?
That was Me Day Up, and it's centered around the lives of a girl and a man who's also in the struggle. So at the end of the scene, they all came together.
Don't give it away because we're going to be checking it out. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Breakfast Daily. My name is Jifa Ekia Amatam.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
And we'll take a look at that song.
Yeah, Me Day Up.
Stone Boy.
God, we up, me looking for a better day. So me day I roll. One day I go reach my destination, me I know. So me put my heart into it and I do it for my soul. I'm a fool. Well, they them never know the story. When time we did that thing, cause to away figure a foreign. Kofi Jama, yen in them sadama. But the paper rough Japan, I it locate us. When life is rotate us. Look for me economy and status. Them know say them no feet us. I be them a papa, them be feet us. I want keep working every day. I see more winning and I see more glory. Keep working every day. I see more winning and I see more glory. Don't stop never. And no matter how so far. for now, I know I go smile later. So me keep on moving through the storm and the rainy days. Baby, no matter the weather, I put on for my family, I put on for my team. I'm a living testimony, show my people they can win. Started from the bottom, now I'm up like Aladdin. Me and me walk as my baby, I buy a deal. Them never could have put me in a dungeon, no. I do it like Oliver Twist, I'm asking for more. From Timaba, now me rapping with the one God. Make them know how we there.